What's up, guys? It's Vic here with Strikers Reptiles. I do apologize for the poor quality lighting in the beginning of this video, but as you can see from the title, I am currently in my Savannah Monitor's enclosure, just wanting to demonstrate a little bit the importance of proper cage size. Also, if you're wondering how to build an enclosure like this, my next video will be a monitor lizard cage build. It'll be almost exactly like the cage that you see me sitting in right now, but it'll be smaller because it's for Ackie monitors, which are smaller, but it's going to have the same thing with, propensity for high basking temperatures, high humidity, and holding a burrowing substrate. Those are really the most important factors when setting up your enclosure, along with the space, of course. But yeah, guys, so if you're interested in that, make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and let's get into it, talking about this setup we're in right now. So here we are in the home of Jane Wick. She is currently basking. She looks like she's about had it with my shit for today. Just staring at me like, what are you doing in my cage? Somebody came over to investigate. Okay, there's not much I can do right here. I'm kind of confined. She's just sniffing me, seeing if I got food. That's pretty much what she likes me for. One sec, I'm just gonna get her relocated. So this should be interesting. If she decides to walk over to my toe right now, there's basically nowhere I can move it to. Don't worry, I'm not going to start screaming like Brian Barczyk does when his monitor gets out of its cage. Burn. So her basking temperature is about 150 degrees under those two bulbs right there, and she's able to cover her whole body. But yeah, it's quite the elaborate setup. Obviously, it's custom built. I'm not a professional carpenter. This cage is not professionally built, and because of that, I'm probably gonna have to rebuild this cage in a few years. But there are some important aspects of this cage to take away from it. As you can see, there's pretty much nothing in here from Petco or PetSmart. There's absolutely nothing that you need for your Savannah monitor that is sold at pet retail stores or pet retail websites. Just about everything in here is from either outside or Home Depot. I'm trying to think of if there's any exceptions. There's not. You can get your temperature gun and your thermometers and hydrometers. You can get those at Home Depot as well. And then also we've got the walls of our cage, which are sealed plywood. I used a plastic dip seal. It's non-toxic when it dries. That was a little bit expensive. Now, if I had to redo it, I would probably go with like a dry lock or a kennel sealant. Anything that's non-toxic when it dries is going to keep water out of your wood so it doesn't rot. We've got, this is sort of a Retties stack right here that she's got for basking and thermoregulating on. Every level is going to be a slightly lower temperature as you go down from her basking spot, and that's just so that she can thermoregulate effectively. I strongly recommend those, especially for new monitor keepers. Ideally, the levels in the stack would be a little closer together because they do like when it's tight fitting. They feel a little more secure if their back and belly is being touched by the Retties stack at all times when they're in it. So I would go with, a little closer together on the levels when rebuilding that. I've got some of these like palm fronds or something. I just got those from outside, actually. In an untreated area, as long as it's not treated with pesticides or any poisons or anything like that, you're basically good to throw it in there. Yeah, there's going to be insects and stuff in it. They're going to come out, and they're just going to help increase the bioactivity of your enclosure, which comes to my next part. There's a log that's from outside too. We've got the substrate here. This is about 80% topsoil and 20% play sand. You don't need wood chips, you don't need repty bark or anything like that. You just need soil and sand. Some people do moss. We've actually got a little moss right here, but that's more for her to, let me move this. There's a little moss right here, but that's just something for her to rub against when she's shedding. It's like a dry, grassy moss. So yeah, guys, this enclosure is 7 feet long, 3 feet wide, and 4 feet tall. You're only going to see about a little more than 2 feet from the ceiling to the ground because there's about 2 feet of substrate, 22 inches or something like that. That's extremely important, not just so that your monitor can replicate their natural behaviors, but if your monitor turns out to be a female, which you can't know when it's young. I'm going to get that out there. You cannot know your monitor's sex when it's young. No matter what anyone told you, your monitor could turn out to be a female, and in that case, you're going to want a deep substrate so that it can lay its eggs. See, monitors are very picky egg layers. When it comes to ball pythons, bearded dragons, and other commonly bred species, they'll pretty much lay their eggs anywhere. I actually got my first clutch of ball python eggs the other day, and our girl laid them directly on the plastic of her tub. That was a ball python. Now, with a Savannah monitor, they will actually travel for miles digging into termite mounds, just general holes in the ground, looking for the proper temperature, humidity, and conditions where they think their eggs are going to be most successful. So it's very important that you offer them options, because even if you're not breeding monitors, your females can still produce infertile eggs, and they're going to want to look for a proper nesting site. So yeah, guys, deep substrate is very, very important. The other thing that you're going to notice is the ceiling of this cage. It is not a screen top. It is not a glass top. It is not an opening top. The opening is in the front. The top needs to be solid. That's how you trap in the humidity and heat, because heat and humidity will rise out of the cage if you allow them to. And that's how your Savannah monitor gets dehydrated. That's why you can't keep your Savannah monitor in a tank. It won't work for long. So yeah, guys, along with that, we've got climbing opportunities. You know, we got logs and another frond back here. Sorry again for the poor lighting. We got a big water dish, which is right there. That's a big Sterilite tub next to my foot. Don't mind that. And yeah, guys, I mean, it's not the most ridiculous setup, and I also will mention that I don't believe this enclosure is really big enough for the largest of Savannah monitors. Like I said, my girl's 30 inches, so that's 2.5 feet. How many centimeters is that? 75 centimeters. So, you know, Savannah monitors do get bigger than that. Most people are aware of that. They can get, 3 feet, 90 centimeters or more, up to 4 feet, 120 centimeters. So, if my Savannah monitor was any bigger than this, I would want a bigger cage for her. And I do expect her to keep growing, so I do expect to have to upgrade her enclosure eventually. My recommendation, learn from my mistakes, save money, and just build the full-size enclosure. I mean, there's no need to be building 3 enclosures. This thing was a pain to build. And realistically, if you are not able or willing to build an enclosure like this, then you should not be able or willing to purchase a Savannah monitor, because that is just, this is bare minimum, guys. I'm not showing you some kind of zoo quality master, best in the world enclosure. This is the enclosure that your Savannah monitor needs to live. If you can't do that, you need to do more. When I get into a bigger place, I plan to give her like a 10 by 5 by 5, possibly an outdoor enclosure, because once again, we are in Florida, so you can do some climate control stuff to keep them warm in the winter, and then just let them kind of be outdoors in the summer. But yeah, guys, size is extremely important. Even from a young age, they will use every square inch afforded to them. So I highly recommend that you just go ahead and build that adult enclosure off the rip. Save yourself some time and money. Alright, guys, I think we covered the important stuff. You don't need anything from Petco. All this stuff's from outside in Home Depot. That's topsoil, the regular untreated topsoil. It's like $2 a bag for 40 pounds of it, but you're gonna need like, 30 bags of it. It's a ridiculous amount. So yeah, guys, if you want to see more Savannah monitor related content, other reptile related content, make sure you're subscribed. I appreciate you all, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.